Well, hello. Welcome to Spotlight TV. I'm your host, Dr. Larry Carnes, and we're so glad that you could join us for another powerful Spotlight TV interview. We have a very special guest with us today, Mr. Raekwon Williams. Raekwon, we're so glad that you could be with us today. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Great, great, awesome. We're excited to have you with us. Before we get into the interview about the book, tell your audience, take about a minute and introduce yourself to our audience and tell them a little bit about you.
So my name is Raekwon. I'm 21 years old. I just graduated from Prince George Community College, earned my associate's degree in English. I have I'm the youngest of one sister, one sibling, and I've pretty much lived in the Maryland vicinity my whole lifetime.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So now, such a powerful book. Tell me, variations of strong love and the motivations that drive you to keep going. Now, at this, I'm going to say at a young age, but you're writing this on a very profound subject. What drove you to write this? And just share that with us and give us some insights into the book.
So, you know, I really wanted to I really wanted people to hear a positive message that would really uplift a lot of people. And a lot of times, um, negativity kind of driven down by that type of energy, and to always have. And the book really is a combination of just the love part of the book. You have um, any type of love whenever you're feeling any type of way. It's always going to make you just have this you're always just going to feel outside of this world when you're in love with something. And then there could be a love of a sport, this eternal love of the sport. And then the motivational part of the book is the positive thinking and the being proud of who you are, accepting who you are no matter what other people think you, keeping a positive mindset, um, regardless of what others have said.
Okay, powerful. So now, when you wrote this book, what were the driving factors behind it? Were there life experiences or observation from things that you've seen taking place in the lives of others? What was the driving force that caused you to pen this book?
So it was a combination of both. It was a combination of personal experience that I've had of, uh, you know, feeling certain ways, feeling down certain ways, and just looking at how other people have kind of had those similar feelings. And so what I did was I kind of combined my personal experience from what I've experienced myself, especially and specifically on the love section where I talk about maternal for wrestling. That's a sport I always loved, so I talked about that. And the positive thinkers overcome the poem where I talk about when I'm in love. Like, these are just things that I took from both personal experience as well as things I've seen people, friends of mine, people I know, go through.
Okay, so you're dealing with life experiences, both personal and life experiences outside and people who you are connected with, related to. Now, I heard you mention something about the mind. When you think about that, the mind, the will, and the emotions, how important was that when it came to you penning the book and just unpacking some things that's going to be contained in the book itself?
So the mind, it was very important because um, it was a thing to where it's like you really want to like, I always try to pay attention to detail when I'm writing, and really try to make sure that what I'm saying is as descriptive as it can be. And that is something I really look into, and that is what I did with these poems in this book. They all are part of the theme, which is the actual title itself. But there's that breakthrough of your side of the motivation, the side of the love portion, all combined into one.
So they're converging. You said the side of the motivation, the side of the love portion combine, or they converge at some point.
Yeah.
And so you're doing that in the book. Uh, you said something about it depicts, if you will, the strong feelings, plurality of love. Talk to us about that just a bit, if you will.
So it depicts a strong variety of love because there's two different loves I'm talking about here in this poem. There's the love of a sport where I have one of my poems to say my love for wrestling. So it's a love of a sport where no matter um, what anybody say, you're always going to feel attached to it, and that is how I feel about wrestling. But this could be for anyone. If you really have a love for a sport in this nation, you're going to just always feel attached, and there's really nothing that's going to bring you apart. Then there's the point where I simply talk about when I'm in love, and that doesn't necessarily mean when you're in love with a significant other. This can mean anything. Like when you're in love with anything, it just kind of feels out of this world. It kind of just feels like you're in a utopia. It just feels so different, like a whole different a virtual reality or something. And those are the combinations of those two poems that focus on love. You got one, the sporting part of it, where you could love a sport, have a really strong passion for a sport, and nothing's gonna break that passion regardless of what happens. Then there's that when I'm in love poem, where anything, any type of love is gonna get you. Any type of love, you can have any type of love, and
Yeah, so that's powerful because I hear you making a distinction. So you're not talking about, many people think of love and they think of eros, so that, the erotic love, but you're expanding that, you're broadening that, or you're challenging the mind to get beyond the boundaries or the barriers in a way that we view love in many cases. That's powerful because we can love things and not be so much fixated, if you will, with people when it comes to love. So you're broadening the perspective when it comes to that. That's so very powerful. What was it that really triggered you to go into this direction, to broaden that horizon, to give people an opportunity to look at love from a different perspective?
well, I think a lot of times, love a lot of times is mainly overlooked at as far as, loving someone else or that type of love. And that's perfectly fine. It's understandable, but I wanted to kind of make it a little expansive to show that, you know, love can just come in so many forms. It's
Yeah.
not just one, it can come in multiple forms. And when you're just in love with something, that doesn't matter what that is, it just makes you see things in a whole different perspective. And that is really what I wanted to show here, which is why I just use so many different examples in the poem of when I'm in love. I constantly repeat that over and over again and just kind of show how things just feel different and seem different.
Yeah, interesting. Would it be safe or would it be appropriate from your perspective to connect love and appreciation? Would it be safe to put those in the same categories?
Um, yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So when you love something, you're going to appreciate it and you're going to display or you're going to show your appreciation for it.
Yes. When you love something, it's kind of like, you're more appreciative to that, and it's a good combination because, like I said, you just have a variety of different forms of love in common. So when you have a love for something, it really makes you really drives you to have even more appreciative to it, um, more than anything.
Yeah, powerful, powerful. So love, appreciation for love will cause you to actually value and not necessarily valuing a person or that's interesting your perspective of it because it's going to bring a whole new light to some people with the book. So now when you talk about the book, what are some ways that people can obtain the book and just the essence? You mentioned poems. What's the essence behind the poems that's contained in the book?
So, so this book, there's about 4 poems. There's 4 poems in this book, and the way that I did it, it was like I started off with, I want to say, I kind of broke it down. So like, there's a love poem, there's a motivation, there's a love poem, there's a motivation. I kind of did it in that way. I have to like look and tell you the exact way I did it, but I'm pretty sure I did it in that way where it was like first poem in there is my time for wrestling. Then you get to motivation. Then you get back to love. Then you get back to motivation. So I kind of broke it down in that perspective, just to kind of flow with the actual title itself, and have that functionality to show. Okay, let me talk about what I want to focus on the love portion of the book, which is the variation of strong love. Then at the same time, let me focus on the motivation part of the book and show you, um, this is the motivation side that I want people to see.
Wow, powerful. The love side, the motivation side. That's very, very, very powerful. Share with our viewing audience some ways that they can get in contact with you if they want to contact you, and then how can they have access to get the book?
So right now, as far as the way to access my book, it's available on Amazon. Um, so the way to find that, as of right now, if you go to Amazon, you type my first name and my last name, and you spell it the way my name is spelled, Raekwon, Raekwon William. As soon as you click that in a search engine, you will instantly see my book should pop up, because it's like it's gonna be in green. It's like the only book that's in green that will say variation strong love. Motivation drives you to keep going. And as it pertains to contacting, um, so I have not created an email. I haven't like started like an email list or anything like that yet. But I do have a social media account where I do poetry on, and that is Ray underscore the underscore poetries 8978. That account I actually do my poetry on. I promote myself on that account, and and basically that's also how I promoted this book, um, initially.
Okay, give them that information again.
So my Instagram account, my poetry Instagram account is Ray underscore the underscore poetress underscore 8978.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. We want to thank you so much for being with us. Powerful. Thank you for the way that you expand, for your different views about it. Once again, Raekwon Williams. Make sure you all go and check him out on that. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure, our pleasure.